Elon Musk was attacked by bikers, but the ending will shock you. On a quiet morning in the picturesque suburbs of Willow Creek, the sun cast golden beams through the trees, painting a serene, empty road. Elon Musk, the man behind some of the world's most groundbreaking innovations, was driving his futuristic Cybertruck. The sleek, angular vehicle glided silently, its cutting-edge design a stark contrast to the simplicity of the peaceful surroundings. Elon, dressed in a plain t-shirt and sunglasses, seemed at ease, enjoying a rare moment of solitude away from the chaos of his high-profile life. The hum of the Cybertruck's electric engine was the only sound, blending seamlessly with the calm atmosphere. But the stillness carried an unspoken tension. A lone crow soared overhead, its cry sharp and jarring as if foreshadowing the unexpected. In the distance, a faint roar of engines began to rise, breaking the tranquility. Elon remained unaware that his quiet drive was about to spiral into a confrontation that would test his resolve and change a life forever. The calm hum of the Cybertruck was abruptly interrupted by a sharp, unfamiliar beep. Elon Musk, known for his composure, glanced at the display. A warning flashed. A systems fault. Pulling over to the side of the empty suburban road, he began running diagnostics. But despite his best efforts, the vehicle remained unresponsive. He leaned back in his seat, the silence around him growing heavier with every passing second. Elon, the mastermind behind revolutionary technology, was now stranded, powerless in the face of an unexpected malfunction. The irony wasn't lost on him. This wasn't a monumental crisis, yet the isolation of the moment felt strangely unsettled. The soft rustle of the wind and the distant chirp of birds only deepened the stillness. "It's just a technical hiccup," he reassured himself, his gaze drifting to the horizon. But the unease lingered, as if the road ahead was holding a secret. Elon had no way of knowing that this seemingly minor inconvenience would soon spiral into a tense and unexpected encounter, one that would test not his ingenuity, but his resolve. The tranquility of the quiet road was shattered by the sudden roar of motorcycle engines, loud and jarring against the stillness. Over the horizon, 6 bikers appeared, their sleek machines tearing through the peaceful suburban morning like a storm. They moved as one chaotic force, weaving recklessly along the road before skidding to a stop around Elon's stranded Cybertruck. Their laughter was sharp, their movements unrestrained, and their energy filled the air with an unsettling tension. The leader, a tall man with fiery red hair, stepped forward, smirking as he surveyed the futuristic vehicle. "Look at this," he sneered, his voice dripping with mockery. "All that fancy tech, and it can't even get you down the road. Maybe you should have gone for gas instead of those batteries, big guy." The others erupted into laughter, revving their engines in unison. Dust swirled around the truck, and the once quiet road now buzzed with hostility. Another biker, broad and tattooed, leaned close to the window. "Bet this thing cost a fortune? What's the matter, Elon? Can't get your shiny toy to work?" Inside the truck, Elon remained calm, his face betraying no emotion as he lowered the window slightly. "I appreciate your curiosity about electric vehicles," he replied in his usual measured tone. "But I don't think this is the best way to learn." His composed response only fueled the group's jeering. One of the bikers, a wiry young man with restless energy, crouched to pick up a rock. Holding it up, he grinned menacingly. "How about we see how bulletproof those fancy windows really are?" As the laughter continued, one biker stood apart from the group. Kevin, the youngest among them, shifted uncomfortably, glancing at the others as if unsure whether to join in or hold back. His hands trembled slightly on the handlebars of his bike, a subtle but telling sign of unease. The tension grew thicker with every passing second. Elon's calm exterior remained unbroken, but his hand moved discreetly toward his phone, ready to call for help if needed. The peaceful morning had transformed into something far darker, and the danger was only beginning to unfold. Just as the tension seemed ready to explode, a sharp, commanding sound cut through the chaos. A single car horn, deliberate and piercing. All eyes turned toward the horizon, where a sleek black SUV appeared, gliding down the road with quiet authority. The vehicle slowed as it approached, its engine's low hum a stark contrast to the rumbling motorcycles. The SUV came to a stop, and the door opened with a deliberate motion. Out stepped a tall, imposing figure, Agent Marcus. Dressed sharply in a dark blue shirt tucked neatly into khaki slacks, his gleaming gold badge clipped to his belt, Marcus exuded an air of unshakable authority. His sharp eyes swept across the scene as he adjusted his sleeves and strode forward with calm, measured steps. The bikers exchanged uneasy glances but masked their nervousness with bravado. The leader, his fiery red hair catching the sunlight, let out a mocking laugh. "Oh great, another wannabe hero. What's this, your big moment to save the day?" His voice dripped with sarcasm, but there was a faint edge of uncertainty. Marcus didn't flinch. His voice was deep and steady, slicing through the tension like a blade. "This is a public road, not your playground. Step away from the vehicle. Now." The leader hesitated, his smirk faltering slightly. Another biker, broader and more defiant, stepped forward. "And who do you think you are, giving orders? Do you even know who you're talking to?" he growled, his voice thick with challenge. With calculated calm, Marcus reached to his belt and pulled out his badge, holding it up for all to see. "I'm Agent Marcus, FBI. And yes, I know exactly who I'm talking to. The question is, do you?" The group froze for a moment, the weight of his words settling over them. Their initial bravado began to waver, replaced by a palpable unease. But the leader wasn't ready to back down. "We're just having a little fun with Mr. Big Shot here. No harm done." Marcus's expression hardened, his voice growing sharper. "Drop the rock," he commanded, his eyes locking onto the wiry young man holding the stone. "Don't make me repeat myself." The young biker hesitated, his hand trembling as he glanced at the others. Finally, the rock fell to the ground with a faint clink. The silence that followed was heavy, the bikers unsure of their next move. Without missing a beat, Marcus pulled out his phone and dialed. "This is Agent Marcus. I need a patrol unit on Meadowbrook Lane. 6 individuals causing a disturbance. Possible illegal activity." His tone was calm, but the message was clear. The situation was under control, and backup was on the way. The bikers began to whisper among themselves, their confidence slipping. Marcus didn't move, his presence alone enough to keep them in check. He wasn't just a man with a badge, he was a force, unwavering and resolute. As the faint sound of sirens began to echo in the distance, the bikers' defiance gave way to unease. Marcus stood tall, his piercing gaze fixed on the group, ready to see this confrontation through. For Elon, still seated in the Cybertruck, this unexpected intervention wasn't just a relief. It was a moment of undeniable strength, cutting through the chaos. The sharp wail of sirens pierced the air, growing louder with every passing second. Red and blue lights flashed in the distance, cutting through the tension like a warning shot. The bikers, who had been putting on a show of defiance, suddenly shifted uneasily, their bravado crumbling under the weight of what was coming. 2 police cruisers roared onto the scene, tires screeching as they came to a halt. Officers stepped out swiftly, their movements precise and coordinated. One of them barked a command, his voice firm and unmistakably authoritative. "Everyone, stay where you are." The bikers froze, their tough exteriors giving way to panic. Kevin, the youngest of the group, gripped the handlebars of his motorcycle tightly, his knuckles white. His heart pounded in his chest, the sirens and authoritative voices blending into a chaotic hum in his mind. He glanced nervously at the others, his usual confidence replaced by fear. The officers wasted no time, moving systematically to control the scene. IDs were checked, backpacks searched, and quick field tests conducted. It wasn't long before the truth came to light. Evidence of illegal substances and suspicious items emerged from the group's belongings. One by one, the bikers' attempts at excuses fell flat under the officers' unrelenting scrutiny. Kevin felt a knot tightening in his stomach as he watched his friends crumble under questioning. Unlike the others, he didn't try to talk his way out of it. His hands trembled as he handed over his ID, unable to meet the officer's gaze. For the first time, the weight of his actions hit him like a tidal wave. The taunts, the mockery, the reckless bravado. It all seemed so small and meaningless now. Elon remained seated in his Cybertruck, quietly observing the chaos unfold. His calm demeanor hadn't wavered, but his sharp eyes caught everything. His gaze lingered on Kevin, who stood apart from the others, not by choice, but by the sheer weight of his regret. There was something in the boy's expression that struck Elon. Not defiance, but fear. Not anger, but guilt. As the officers began to lead the bikers toward the patrol cars, Kevin glanced back at the Cybertruck. For a brief moment, his eyes met Elon's. It was a fleeting connection, but one that carried the unspoken weight of everything Kevin wished he could say. He knew he had crossed a line, and now he would have to face the consequences. The flashing lights reflected off the Cybertruck's angular surface, illuminating the scene as the officers secured the area. The once rowdy group of bikers now stood subdued, their rebellion reduced to silence. But for Kevin, this wasn't just the end of the incident. It was the start of something much bigger. The gravity of the moment weighed heavily on him, and deep down, he knew that his life would never be the same. At the police station, Kevin sat alone in a stark interrogation room. The weight of his actions pressed down on him, heavier than ever. His once confident demeanor was gone, replaced by trembling hands and a knot in his chest that wouldn't loosen. The events of the day played over and over in his mind. The taunts, the recklessness, and the piercing moment when everything fell apart. An officer entered, placing a pen and paper in front of him. "If you've got something to say, now's your chance. Write it down." Kevin hesitated. His first instinct was to stay silent, but as the officer turned to leave, he picked up the pen. With a shaky hand, he began writing. The words came slowly at first, each sentence a painful confrontation with his mistakes. But soon the dam broke. What he wrote wasn't just an apology. It was an admission of regret, an outpouring of guilt, and a plea to be better. "Mr. Musk," the letter began, "I don't expect you to forgive me for what I did today. I mocked you, disrespected your work, and let myself be someone I'm not proud of. But I want you to know how sorry I am. If there's any way to make this right, I'll do it. Not for you, but to prove to myself that I can be better than the person you met on that road." Several days later, Elon sat at his desk, the letter in hand. It had been sent through the proper channels by the police department, and as he read the unpolished words, something in them struck a chord. Elon had encountered plenty of cynics and critics in his life, but this wasn't that. This was a young man who had hit a turning point, someone yearning for a second chance. He leaned back in his chair, considering the words carefully. Elon was not a man who dwelled on past mistakes. His life was built on perseverance and belief in the possibility of change. And in Kevin's letter, he saw a glimmer of that same resilience, waiting to be nurtured. Elon didn't call Kevin directly. Instead, he reached out to the police department, making arrangements to meet with him once his legal proceedings were complete. If he's serious about turning his life around, Elon said to the officer handling the case. "I'd like to offer him an opportunity." When Kevin learned of this, he could hardly believe it. Elon Musk, the man he had insulted and mocked, was willing to meet with him, not to condemn him, but to offer a way forward. It wasn't forgiveness handed freely. It was a challenge. And for the first time in years, Kevin felt hope. This wasn't just about escaping his mistakes. It was about earning the chance to rebuild his life. For Elon, this decision wasn't just about helping one person. It was a belief in the power of transformation, a belief that sometimes the smallest act of compassion could spark a brighter future. Kevin's first day at Tesla was anything but easy. The bright, bustling factory floor felt overwhelming, with machines whirring, technicians moving swiftly, and complex processes unfolding at every corner. Kevin, dressed in a borrowed uniform that felt too big for him, stood awkwardly as his supervisor explained his responsibilities: cleaning tools, organizing equipment, and assisting the technicians with simple tasks. The work was grueling and repetitive, leaving Kevin's muscles sore and his spirit tested. His colleagues were polite but distant, their skepticism apparent. To them, Kevin wasn't yet a team member. He was just a troubled kid given an unearned chance. The whispers and sideways glances stung, feeding the self-doubt already gnawing at him. But Kevin was determined. Each day he arrived early and stayed late, scrubbing machines until they gleamed, organizing tools with precision, and quietly studying the work of the more experienced technicians. There were moments of frustration, bolts that wouldn't loosen, mistakes that drew sharp corrections, but Kevin pushed through, channeling his regret into relentless effort. One evening, long after most of the team had left, Kevin stayed behind to clean a complex assembly machine. As he worked, the door creaked open, and Elon Musk stepped onto the floor. He didn't say anything at first, watching from a distance as Kevin meticulously polished the machine. When Kevin finally noticed him, he froze, unsure of what to say. Elon gave a small nod. "You're doing good work," he said simply, his tone steady but kind. "Small details matter. Keep at it." Those few words stayed with Kevin, fueling him through the toughest days. Slowly but surely, things began to change. One day, while assisting on a particularly intricate task, Kevin surprised even the senior technicians with his quick thinking. His supervisor, who had been watching closely, gave him a rare nod of approval. "Good job, Kevin. That's progress." The praise, though small, felt monumental. For the first time in years, Kevin felt a sense of pride, a belief that he could belong here. His colleagues, seeing his dedication, began to warm up to him. The skepticism turned into quiet encouragement, and over time, even camaraderie. Elon continued to observe from a distance, offering subtle guidance when needed. He didn't coddle Kevin or lower the bar. Instead, he gave him the space to rise to the challenge. And rise Kevin did. Each small triumph, each moment of earned respect, added another brick to the foundation of the person he was becoming. Kevin's journey wasn't without its struggles, but with each passing day, the boy who once stood on the wrong side of the law began to transform into a young man with purpose, grit, and a future worth fighting for. Months of relentless effort finally led Kevin to a pivotal day on the Tesla factory floor. A high-priority project had hit a snag. A vital component of the assembly line had malfunctioned, threatening to delay production. The senior technicians crowded around, their furrowed brows and clipped tones revealing the urgency of the situation. Kevin stood on the sidelines, watching intently, his heart racing as he tried to piece together what might be wrong. Then, almost instinctively, he saw it. A small but crucial misalignment in the system. Kevin hesitated for a moment, unsure if he should speak up. but something inside him, fueled by months of learning and quiet determination, pushed him forward. "I think the problem's here," he said, his voice steady but nervous as he pointed out the issue. The room fell silent as the technicians turned to look at him. One of them, a gruff senior engineer named Carl, raised an eyebrow, but decided to humor him. "All right, kid, show us what you've got." With careful, precise movements, Kevin adjusted the alignment. The moment he stepped back, the system hummed to life, running smoothly once again. A wave of relief swept through the room, quickly replaced by murmurs of surprise. Carl clapped him on the back, his usual skepticism replaced with genuine respect. "Not bad, Kevin. Not bad at all." The breakthrough marked a turning point. The colleagues who once doubted him began to see him as an equal, someone who had earned his place among them. Kevin felt their respect in the small but meaningful ways they included him in their conversations, asked for his input, and encouraged him to take on more responsibility. That evening, as the factory quieted down, Kevin was tidying up when Elon Musk walked in. He approached Kevin with the same calm presence that had once left him speechless. This time, though, Kevin felt different, more confident, more deserving of the opportunity he had been given. "I heard about what you did today," Elon said, a faint smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. "That was impressive." Kevin looked down, feeling a mix of pride and humility. "Thank you, Mr. Musk. I wanted to prove that I could do this." Elon placed a hand on his shoulder, his gaze steady and sincere. "You already have. But remember, progress isn't about one moment. It's about consistency, showing up, learning, and pushing forward every single day. And you've shown you can do that." Those words stayed with Kevin long after Elon had left. He realized that his journey wasn't just about redemption. It was about growth, about proving to himself that he could rise above his mistakes and build a life he could be proud of. For the first time in a long while, Kevin didn't feel like a kid trying to fix his past. He felt like someone with a future, and it was brighter than he had ever imagined. A year had passed since Kevin first stepped into the Tesla factory, unsure of himself and burdened by the weight of his past. Now, he stood tall among his colleagues, a confident and valued team member. The skepticism and whispers were long gone, replaced by pats on the back, words of encouragement, and a shared respect earned through months of hard work and determination. Kevin's transformation didn't go unnoticed. His story had become a quiet inspiration within the factory, a reminder that change was possible, no matter how far someone had fallen. But it wasn't until a major Tesla event that his journey would reach a wider audience. On a stage set against the backdrop of Tesla's latest innovations, Elon Musk addressed a packed crowd of employees, media, and industry leaders. He spoke of progress, resilience, and the human capacity to grow. Then, pausing for a moment, he looked out over the audience and said, "There's a story I want to share. A story about someone who taught me that second chances can be just as powerful as first ones." Elon recounted Kevin's journey from a reckless young man on the wrong side of the law to a dedicated and talented member of the Tesla team. He spoke not of Kevin's mistakes, but of his courage to face them, his willingness to work tirelessly, and his determination to build a better future. The audience erupted into applause, but for Kevin, standing quietly among the crowd, the moment was deeply personal. It wasn't about the recognition, it was about the reflection. He thought back to that fateful day on the road, the anger and shame he'd felt at the police station, and the trembling hope he'd carried into his first days at Tesla. And now, here he was, a part of something bigger than himself, proving every day that people could rise above their pasts. Later, as the event wound down, Kevin found himself standing by a large glass window overlooking the Tesla factory floor. The morning sun streamed in, bathing the room in golden light. It felt like a symbol of his journey, the dark shadows of his mistakes giving way to the bright promise of his future. He smiled to himself, recalling Elon's words from months earlier. Progress isn't about one moment. It's about showing up every day. Kevin knew he still had more to learn, more to achieve, but for the first time in his life, he felt truly proud of the person he was becoming. This story isn't just about Kevin. It's about all of us. It's a testament to the power of redemption, resilience, and the transformative impact of compassion. Second chances don't erase the past, but they create a pathway to a better future. And sometimes, all it takes is one opportunity to prove that change is not only possible, is extraordinary. This story, though fictional, carries a deeply real and meaningful message. No matter how lost someone may seem, everyone deserves a second chance. Kevin's journey reminds us that mistakes don't define who we are. It's how we rise from them, how we work to become better, that truly shapes our future. Elon Musk's decision to show kindness and offer an opportunity rather than judgment transformed Kevin's life. It wasn't just about forgiveness. It was about faith in the power of change. And Kevin's resilience proves that, with the right support, determination, and courage, anyone can turn their life around. Let this story inspire us to look beyond someone's past and see their potential. Sometimes, all it takes is one act of kindness, one person who believes, to spark a transformation that can ripple out to inspire others. What are your thoughts on Kevin's journey? Have you experienced or witnessed the power of second chances in your own life? We'd love to hear your stories and reflections in the comments below. If this story touched your heart, please like and share it to spread its message of hope and redemption. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories that remind us of the beauty and strength of the human spirit. Thank you for being here and for sharing in this journey with us. We'll see you in the next story, where together we'll continue to explore the powerful ways our lives can change for the better.